This is The Filter on iHeart Podcasts Canada.
Chuck and Pierre from Simple Plan, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Of course,
we're
thank
at All
you.
Your Friends Fest. So much going on with you guys. You have a documentary coming out on July 8th. I actually had a chance to watch it already.
No way.
Yes, it's so good, and I feel like the fans are going to be so into it because there's a lot that we don't know that happens, behind the scenes with you guys. But there was also drama too that you had to relive. So what was it like, sort of digging all that up now?
It was a challenging process in lots of ways. I mean, it's really difficult to try to sum up 25 years, even 30 years. And we've been playing music since we're 13 years old together in an hour and 34 minutes. I mean, that just is a tall order. You have to make some tough choices, and it was and it brought up some old history that obviously we worked through, but it was kind of like, it's still touchy to talk about all that stuff. So, but that was the point. We wanted the documentary to feel real, to feel like unfiltered, to feel like we were giving real access, not just like a glorified ad, like we wanted to tell the real story.
Right. And how did it feel for you?
Same way. I think that, back in the day, around our first record, we put out a long DVD. It's like a 3-hour thing, and it was really sort of the raw reality of what Simple Plan was back then. And I think since then, we haven't really had the chance to put out something that's been really honest and really deep like that. And so this is a way 25 years later, or from that one, 22 years later, to kind of do that again, So it was a big challenge, like Chuck is saying. But I think it's kind of cool because we do so much stuff on social media, and it's like, it's a skit, it's this, it's that, it's all these like, okay, put your game face on.
Yes.
And so to be able to go in depth in 2024, 25 and reflect, from where we came from to the process of getting here I think it's cool. And like you said, for the fans, it's going to be very refreshing because as much as we love doing the skits online, it's nice sometimes to sit down and be like, oh, how do you feel,
Personally, I love seeing you guys with your families because it's cool to see you with your kids. And like do your kids think you guys are just the coolest dads?
Depends on the day, I think.
I think my kids really like it. I think that that they're really into the fact, especially my youngest daughter is really into music, and when she comes out, I think it's starting to sink in of like, how we got here, as opposed to just being the band, the dads that are on tour that are playing the shows. Once we start showing this archival footage, they see old pictures of us and like, oh my God, you were my age. I'm speaking from them now, from their perspective, that they're thinking like, oh my God, we were their age when we started. So I think it makes it more real. Like, oh, Dad's got a story that kind of like could be something that I want to do one day, or something, the sort of passion and the sort of drive that we put into our band, and they're like, oh, I got to start that now, So it's cool for them. It humanizes us as dads, I think.
Yeah, and my son is like our biggest fan. Like anytime we go anywhere in the car, we can only listen to Simple Plan pretty much. So for him to get a chance to kind of see what it's like, because we're away a lot, right? Like we have to make some sacrifices. We go on tour. So I think seeing the movie, he understands like when we leave, it's like we're going to do something meaningful that has a purpose. There's a reason why, and you can see like Pierre was saying, our passion for what we do. And I think it makes them understand. My son's going to turn 10 in a few days, and so, but I think they sort of see like, okay, like it's important to my dad. Like this is like a life journey. We've been pouring our hearts into this for years. So I think it helps them understand better.
Yeah, that's really nice. Last night was my first night away from my daughter, so I'm all in my feelings watching you guys with your kids last night. Now Avril Lavigne makes a cameo. There's lots of cameos in it, but Avril Lavigne makes a cameo. She's here at All Your Friends Fest. What's it like still working together after all this time?
I think I'm always impressed of how kind and generous and such a nice person that she is. She was adamant for the last year of like, we should put a song out together, and I'm like, this is so cool to have, obviously Avril is the headliner. She's a little bigger than Simple Plan, to be like, I want to have a song with you guys, you know what I mean? It's very refreshing. Every time we go on tour, we show up and she's got a little gift for us and a handwritten note, and I'm like, oh my God, you've been a star since you're 17 years old, and you're still so grounded. She, sometimes when she has days off, she'll go in a campground, and like, it's amazing to see. So we're just happy to be able to still be friends with her. And after all these years, we went on her first tour. On her first tour, we opened up for her. And now 25 or whatever years later, we're doing it again. So it's nice.
It's like full circle, you know, to be able to do this again. You know, we were literally like, you know, it was the first arena tour we've ever done. She invited us, and now we're doing it all. And honestly, the crowds have been unbelievable. Like the last 2 summers, we've done shows with her in the U.S. and now in Canada. Like it's just been massive shows after massive shows, and it just fits. You know, the fans love it, and we love it, and we get along, and we feel like we're in this little bubble of friends on the tour, you know?
Well, and it wasn't all drama. You guys ran for student council president together?
We did.
We did.
That's adorable. What was your platform? What
We
would
won.
you like? Did you have posters and stuff? Like, how'd you go about it?
We were called the Apostles. Remember?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think Chuck would remember more because he kind of masterminded it. I didn't really want to do it, but he was like, hey, you know, let's put you in the front.
There you go.
Do you think you guys were good at it? I mean, you won.
We didn't do anything.
So
Yeah.
It really was really more of a, you know, what do you call it? It was just a title, really. We
Right.
didn't really have
It was
any.
for show.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not a lot of power, not a lot of like
We couldn't really do
executive
much.
decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of very symbolic.
I get that. I was student council president too, so
There you
same,
go.
same. I hear ya. What do you want people to take away from the documentary?
I think for me, what I hope it does, it inspires people that have, even if it's not music, it can be anything. If you have a dream and you work really hard at it and you have resilience and you keep showing up and you trust in the process and you keep putting your hearts into it and you find a passion, anything can happen. I mean, we were just, you know, kids from a suburb of Montreal. There wasn't any model to really follow. There wasn't any big bands that ever really broke through that were French Canadians, that were, you know, from our area at all. Like most at the time, like that's because you have to realize there was no social media, there was nothing back then. There was not a lot of big industry in Montreal, like music industry at all. So it felt impossible unless you were from, I don't know, maybe New York, LA, or Toronto, or London. Like it didn't feel like it was something you could really achieve. But we just, I don't know, for whatever reason, we just believed that it was possible. We didn't have any plan B, and we just went for it. And we, in our minds, it was going to happen. And I think that if people watch that and they can see, because we're not, I'll speak for myself, but we're not like the most talented musicians. Like it's like we had to really work hard, and I think we kind of willed it in some ways. And I think that can be hopefully inspiring for some people.
Amazing.
They're chasing, you know, their dreams.
One of the comments that I read on the trailer said, from singing your songs alone in my bedroom to singing with my husband and my son at your shows, this band has been a constant. So what's it like to be that much a part of people's lives?
That might be the coolest thing that we're starting to see so much of today on this tour, on our tours. You know, we just got back from Japan, Australia. We're doing worldwide stuff. And now it's like we're often seeing people who are of young age, like, you know, they're 14, 15, but they happen to be there with their parents. And their parents are the ones that when these kids were born, were listening to Simple Plan. So in some ways, it reminds me of like, when I was growing up, what were my parents listening to? And if I got into it, it's like what's happening now. But we are that band. And that to me is really cool. And it shows that like the music that we wrote that came out all those years ago can still be fun to listen to today, stands the test of time. So I really enjoy that. And yeah, we're seeing a lot more of it, and that's really cool.
And what has been your most interesting fan interaction? Like, has anyone, like, you know, made you a necklace of their hair or, like, sent you their teeth or something?
A lot of Simple Plan tattoos. There was...
yeah, more than ever.
Yeah. There was one, it's funny, and it's a funny story, a little self-deprecating, but there's this girl back in the day in Europe, she tattooed all of our faces across her chest. It was really, really intense. Even for us, we were like, oh, damn, that's
Wow.
like serious. But you know, I think a few years later we went back, and I think she'd had removed or covered up. And it's not, she still liked the band, but she was like, yeah, that was probably not the best choice. And I agree with that. It was like all of our faces across her chest, and I was like, I appreciate it, but I don't know, a little intense.
But I mean, honestly, almost every single show that we go to, people ask us like, hey, sign your, you know, like I want to get a tattoo or write this lyrics. And that has meant so much to me. This song has helped me. And I think just being I think when you said earlier, like being a part of people's lives, being there when they need it, when they have a tough moment and they turn to music, because music can really be a lifeline like that. So being that band or having written those songs that have meant that much to people, it's the greatest gift you can have as a songwriter, as a band member. And it's really cool to see that it's enduring. And it's like people that maybe were fans when they were 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe for a few years they evolve, they go somewhere else, and now we're seeing a lot of them coming back, and they're like, hey, man, like these songs have meant so much. Like I want to come back and see the show again. I want to kind of reconnect with the music, and that's been really, really fun for us to see.
I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to do like a PSA. Like, if you're considering a Simple Plan tattoo, maybe not, all of their faces. Lyrics, I like that.
Yeah,
A
lyrics,
good, meaningful
a little
lyric.
logo, little SP with a heart.
That's nice.
It's something that you won't regret, you know what I mean? Something you won't feel like, okay,
And you guys have your new song, Young and Dumb, with Avril Lavigne, like we talked about earlier. What springs to mind when you think of being young and dumb?
You know what? That song really reminds me of just, as the chorus says, like I've been thinking about that summer, back when we were young and dumb, and it's really about the first tour that we went on together and how we were just kids, no pun intended, and we were just, acting ridiculous, doing crazy stuff, and now we get to relive it, you know what I mean? And now we get to do it like we're young and dumb again, and we get together with Avril, we have little barbecues and parties and stuff, and it's just it's nice to be able to kind of look back at those days as like, oh my God, that was so fun, let's do it again.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to have a throwback to it when everything was fresh, when everything was brand new, was the first time for everything. I mean, that was really special, but in a way, like, it's not the first time anymore, and we've been around the block a little bit, but I think when you do a project like the documentary, or if you release a new song, there's a way, like when you put out like a new album, it feels like the first time every time, it's like, and that keeps it fresh, it keeps it fun for us, and it keeps it interesting.
Well, and you talked about how when you guys started, obviously there was no social media. So how did the I'm Just a Kid challenge feel for you guys? Will Smith did like 10. Did you watch them all?
Yeah, we did. This is the coolest thing about what I think, one of the coolest things that have happened to our band is really the I'm Just a Kid challenge. And I say that because it was not orchestrated whatsoever. It really just happened without us even knowing. And it was this one girl that put out a first video that had the idea to do it, and it just spread like wildfire.
And we actually
organically.
met her.
We met her. Yeah, she was at the show, and I think it was Nashville or something. I forget where she was.
In New Jersey.
New Jersey. There you go. And the fact that it happened on its own without us trying to orchestrate, and we're not trying to create a viral video. It happened on its own, and it blew up to the point where it's like billions and billions of impressions that the song has had, that the challenge has created. It's incredible. So I love that it was unplanned, that it happened, and it's because of the song itself and the sentiment of this challenge is so heartwarming when you watch it sometimes, or hilarious. So I think it's really cool.
And the craziest thing that it keeps going, just yesterday, I think, like Selena Gomez did one. I think it's at something like 5 or 10 million views already. It's crazy. It just keeps going. It's been 5 years, 6 years.
I don't want to drop names. Ed Sheeran.
Not that
Serena
anyone's
Williams.
Yeah. Amazing. One of the questions that we've been asking everyone is, whose posters did you have on your wall when you were a kid?
Funny enough, I had a lot of posters with my band on it. We started playing in a band when we were very, very young, and we had the opportunity to play a lot of like pop punk and punk rock festivals back when we were younger, and we would always collect the posters, and we'd be the lowest band on the poster, but it would be like 10-foot pole, Strung Out, Lagwagon, MXPX, and Reset, and so we had a lot of these posters that we actually were part of. So in a way, it's interesting that we've always been on stage. We've always been hanging out with these friends of ours now who are in bands. So it's been really, really cool. But that, and then I had, it was like NoFX, Pennywise, Offspring. That was about it.
Yeah, actually, if you see, and like we used to rehearse in my parents' basement, and you see a lot of it in the movie, and you can see the posters on that wall. It was NoFX, it was Lagwagon, Strung Out, 10-Foot Pole, all these bands that we grew up loving. And I would say right before that, for me, it was Guns N' Roses. So in my bedroom, I had a whole wall of that. So right before I discovered sort of punk rock and Bad Religion and all that, it was like Guns N' Roses and maybe Pearl Jam.
And who was your first celebrity crush?
First celebrity crush. Well, if we go way, way back, we go very Canadian. I think it was Samantha Fox. Okay. You know what Samantha Fox is?
No.
No, I'm too old. Yeah.
Really?
She was like a pop artist back when I was like, I don't know, I must have been like 8 years old. It was like, I'm going to leave it at that. Google it.
Yeah, I'm going to look her up for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. I'm trying to think of who was mine. Tiffany, do you know her?
Yes, I do know Tiffany. Yeah, okay. All right, good
She's
choice.
pretty hot.
Hey, champs. Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
thanks for being here. What's it like? You guys, this is All Your Friends Fest. So what's it like performing with bands that influence the band?
It's very, very cool. It's humbling, you know? It's funny that, like, yeah, Simple Plan being an example, like, I've fanboyed to them myself back in the day when we first became friends. Like, you were my 6th grade alarm clock, you know? Like, the kid was my 6th grade alarm clock that went off at 7 in the morning. And
I love
And then
that.
Pierre's watching our sound check today.
Yeah, and now we just, like, make dick jokes to each other. So, it's pretty funny.
Have you told him that they were your 6th grade alarm clock?
Yeah, he was like, cool.
I feel like he was like not stoked. He's like, thanks, I'm old. Yeah.
Or he was like, cool, I'm going to need you to take like 6 steps back.
Yeah.
But I think this is our first time playing with Avril Lavigne, maybe second.
Yeah.
But so we're excited to watch her.
Yeah, so Simple Plan, Avril Lavigne. Who else did you guys get to see anyone?
None of them are like some of our best friends. We've played with them
Oh,
forever.
okay.
Taylor Acorn's a friend of ours that was just playing.
Yep.
Um,
I haven't seen any bands yet so far, though, so sorry to all my friends. But I will watch your band
it's
after
iHeartRadio's
this.
fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is my fault. So you'd be seeing this band.
We're gonna go journey
if it
and
weren't
watch
for
some
me.
bands.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I really want to see Anne Berlin later.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not friends with them, though.
Do you
But
know them?
maybe we will be tonight.
We're gonna make some more friends today.
Well, I'm talking to them later, so I'll tell them you said hi.
Okay, great.
When you guys are putting your set list together, like, do you ever argue about any of it?
Yes.
Like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to Britney Spears or
All the
else.
time.
I was going to say, I don't think there's a set list discussion where we don't, like, butt heads.
We're a little more passive aggressive than that, though. It's not like that or else. It's like, I don't know, man. I know you really want to play that one, but that last time we played it wasn't so great. So what if we actually did my idea instead?
Yeah.
In the end, it's not a bad problem to have when we're arguing over our songs that we like. You
Yeah.
know? So it's like, yes, it's a little subjective, and it changes due to like what the crowd atmosphere is going to be like. If it's a big festival, we're going to make new fans at. There's certain songs we would play that are different from when it's like a tiny club show that it's just all of our diehard fans.
Right. How do you settle disagreements in the band?
We fight.
Yeah, combat.
Yes, combat. That's what I was
You really have to campaign for your idea.
Yeah.
You do.
Somebody
You
go
gotta
back
have
down.
you gotta
How
have
much
a
do you
campaign
care?
Yeah. If the
Okay.
conversation lasts for like an hour, someone will be like, I just don't want to have
It's
this
usually me or
conversation
Ryan that
anymore.
are just eventually like, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I give in pretty quick. But also, I feel like sometimes my ideas are just not even entertained. And this is not a dig. I just feel like sometimes I'll throw something and be like, oh, yeah, maybe, but, yeah, no, so about this other thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
That's classic.
Bad
I
idea.
can't say I give up easily.
You don't.
No, this guy is so burned.
For example.
No, we don't need one.
Okay,
We don't have
sure. Okay, we don't have time. Okay.
Let's hear it.
They also don't let the drummer talk that often, so.
You're
That's
still,
your
you're
chance.
still he has a
That's
microphone.
your chance.
Yeah, they gave me a microphone. My God. Was it the headliner? Well, I wanted to play the Constant and said it would be amazing, and they all.
And then we did it, and now we play it, and it goes really well.
And it goes well. I'm usually right. They just don't
Evan
know.
was right. You have to listen to it.
Evan is right occasionally, you know, and so you do have to kind of
broken clock is right
Yeah, you have
twice
to
a
take
day.
that into account now. So
It's because the drums are so loud they can't hear you.
That's true. I am overpowering in all senses there.
You guys released an album in November, so not that long ago, but what else do you have in the works now?
We have a new song that will be coming out very soon. You're the first person
Oh,
to hear
that's breaking
Wow,
news.
Exclusive here for iHeart. There's a brand new song that we're really, really excited about, actually.
it's a banger.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna shoot a music video for it shortly.
We're gonna play it tonight.
We are not. We're not gonna play it today.
I got her.
But if you guys are lucky, maybe we'll send it to y'all first.
Yes, please send it to me first. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on new music almost always, you know,
Yeah.
just thinking about making new music always. But yeah, we've kind of had a lighter year this year, so we have some time to work on some stuff.
It's less touring this summer. More
Summer.
festivals, flying and flying out, and then in the fall we're going on a tour with the Day to Remember and Yellow Card, which we're really excited about.
Okay, cool. And you guys were in Japan, and you did like a very funny video, like a food video about Big Egg.
Big Egg. Did you watch Big Egg?
Of course, I watched Big Egg first. I want to go to Big Egg.
Isn't it? Does it look
you guys
so
are
good?
influencers because I was like, am I going to Japan to go to Big Egg?
We're trying to introduce Tyler into the world as an influencer.
Tyler's really good at intros, where he's like, "What's up, guys? Here we are at Big Egg in Japan."
Yeah, the explosion.
I have children, and they watch YouTube, and I secondhand hear a lot of, "What's up, guys? We're going to Big Egg today. Come along with us," and like the hand claps and everything. So I'm exposed to all of this stuff against my will. I may as well use it for good.
Did they approve of your Big Egg video?
My oldest loved it.
So that was the original idea was, let's do this for Easton.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for Easton.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old son. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a 3-year-old son. He doesn't really watch that kind of content yet, so
He's still
he
watching
doesn't.
Miss Rachel, that's why.
Yeah, but if the youngins like it, everybody will like it.
No,
But he's a natural. He did such a great job.
Like, yeah,
He was amazing.
I get that now you guys are like, it's for young people, and I'm like, I loved it. But
I've accidentally become important at my job.
Yes.
I'm now the food guy.
I think you should have a show. I was
We
hooked.
could start a little series.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to do it earlier on in our career with Derek trying new foods.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's not a very adventurous eater, so it
They
was.
made me eat a lot of raw vegetables. 'Cause
Yeah.
I hate vegetables.
Yeah, it wasn't
And
great.
it wasn't my fun.
He wasn't
This
influencing
feels
people.
like a challenge for like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, well, that's what I am, essentially.
It was us bullying Derek into trying vegetables, not cooked at all.
You can
Just
try it
raw
on YouTube.
vegetables. Like eating a raw meat is not fun
Eating
for
a raw
anyone.
meat
We just
I
wanted
don't
to
know
watch
how's
him
that gonna
suffer.
turn me on to anything.
You're right.
not.
It
I take it
influenced
back.
a generation of people to not eat that food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
Yeah,
yeah, Big Egg. Any questions?
No, so my my question was
Back to me.
I have a follow-up question. If you guys weren't in the band, so I know you would be hosting a cooking show.
Absolutely.
What would you be doing instead?
Go ahead, Ed.
I would dabble in some rocket science. Probably work at NASA, trying to get, into space.
Just NASA.
Yeah,
Trying
just-
to get into space.
Yeah, just
I would like them to
Get
let
into
me
the
in.
space
I dream
space.
big.
Okay.
Dream big.
What about you?
Honestly, I never really think about this because I just hope that it never ends, which, I don't know. Maybe, I'll probably, teach English somewhere at a university in, a small town, in a small mountain town somewhere.
This feels like the plot of, a Netflix show or
I don't
something.
think about it a lot, but here's a very specific answer.
I know the town. I picked the house.
Well, no, I just want to be, if I'm gonna do this, I want to, go fully, the opposite way.
I
wanna
have the same dream
I don't
sometimes.
want anyone to see me, and I want to just read books.
Okay.
Back in the day, I thought I would be an educator of sorts, but now I would be a web developer because I currently am one and do that in addition to this. But the more fun, when I was 20 years old and it was either this or that, was I was studying history, so maybe a professor. Maybe I would have went to law school, I wanted to, but who knows? Or maybe just YouTube food reviews.
I think it's taken up.
Yeah.
I like music too much, so it'd be something in the music space still, writing or producing other bands.
Yeah.
But if music isn't involved, something in design as well, since I do a lot of our merch designs. I went to school for graphic design.
Okay, cool.
Or something in the YouTube golf space, preferably.
The YouTube golf space,
Yeah.
that took a twist,
Yeah.
and I liked it. And I've been asking everybody, what posters did you guys have on your walls when you were a kid? So when you were kicking it on your inflatable furniture, who was on your wall?
Who was on my
I didn't have any people on my wall. I had a car on my wall.
You did?
Yeah.
You had a car poster? That's so
I had,
typical.
I had a car poster. I'm not a big car guy.
The
either.
Lamborghini
No.
one?
No, it was one of those Prowler cars that has
Yeah.
the front wheels with the little fenders that aren't attached. Yeah.
I know
So I
the
had
Prowler.
magazine ads of all of my favorite bands that lined the top wall of my room, and there was everything from The Bane to The Devil Wears Prada, Chiodos, back to Forever the Sickest Kids, all MySpace bands from back then.
Cool.
The only poster of me, a musician or a band that's ever been on my wall is Hanson.
That rocks.
I love
so
that.
sick.
And I still love Hanson to this day, but they were the first. I think I got it at the Scholastic Book Fair. But,
That's where I got the Prowler one.
yeah,
Yep.
at
Just
school.
lovely.
I had no musicians, only dirt bikes and car posters.
Cool.
What dirt bike stuff did you have?
It was all Honda.
All Honda.
Just Honda
I think I
bikes.
also had a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader calendar,
There we go.
something like that.
Oh, I would definitely
Yeah.
not be allowed to have that.
Yeah, no.
Never.
Yeah.
What was your first celebrity crush?
Britney Spears.
Good morning.
The first one that I can really remember mattering, Hillary Duff.
I like that you said that would matter to you.
Well,
like that
it
matter?
Oh, but
That's still
I skipped school in 8th grade to go meet her at this local putt-putt place. It was called Sportway in Westland, Michigan. And I met
was she
her.
there?
I don't know. It's such a. I'm not kidding you. She was she was at the top of a hill, signing autographs, and you had to walk.
Did you
on-
dream this? She was on
I swear.
You
I
had to
know.
get a
No.
hole in one to talk to her.
Literally, well, you did have to pay. So I paid, I got in.
How much?
And
Do
I
you
had
remember?
a dream because I wanted to ask her to the 8th grade dance. That was my whole That was my whole angle.
So wholesome.
So I asked her to the 8th grade dance, and she obviously was like, something sweet, like I can't, I'll be doing this, whatever.
I would love to, but
and
I
just
can't,
immediately bodyguard was like, you have to leave right now.
You know what? You have to shoot your shot, and you
I
did, and I like it.
You know what? I love you. I'm married.
No, I honestly can't top that. I feel like it's probably Britney Spears as well over here. I was like a big TRL kid, so it was easy to like Britney Spears.
The first one I remember is JoJo. You guys remember JoJo?
Yeah.
Of course.
Her big hits, Get Out and Too Little Too Late.
Yeah.
Her music videos were the first ones where I was like, she's cute. Yeah, that was for sure my first one.
Yeah.
That's great. Guys, I need my page. Okay. So I've been having every band ask, who was last? My brain. I'm melting. Every band asks a question to the next band.
Okay, Buster Bud.
Oh, Hill Scarlet. Yes. Okay, so this was Hill Scarlet's question for you. What is your favorite Canadian band?
My favorite Canadian band, Nickelback.
Wow, I think mine's Simple Plan.
I was gonna say Simple Plan as well.
Sum 41 Canadian? Yeah, they are.
Sum 41.
Or Sum 41.
I'll stick with Simple Plan.
This is not like a band, but Andy Shaw, he's an artist. I don't even know if that's how you say his last name, but I love his records.
Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah.
He is Canadian.
Justin Bieber for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing artists
Just the
now,
band.
not
The band.
sorry.
Justin Bieber.
The band. Justin Bieber's band is good though.
There's
Trish
probably like a
Stratus, the
ton that I just like
WWE
liking
wrestler.
right now, but Andy Shaw is for sure the one that came to my mind.
Start by saying I like that you heard radio, so you were like, yeah, I don't have to be on camera.
I'm in the.
Not only are you on camera, but you get to hang out on our inflatable couches. And
You're welcome for the outfit. You know
I
what
feel
I'm
like-
saying?
no, I feel like
you
you
weren't
fit the
gonna get the
vibe, though.
you weren't gonna if I knew this was on camera, I'd be wearing pants. But instead, you get the treat of my legs.
yeah, but you also took off your shoes because you're respectful of my home out
This
here,
is your
out
house.
here in the field. So I appreciate
It's
that.
cute what you guys did. I was looking at this. I was looking at this TV thinking it was a laminate, but it's truly they figured out how to turn it on.
No,
It has
is-
RCA cables in the back.
It is
Old
fully
school.
plugged in. It
good.
glitched out at one point today. That's the real deal.
That's good. This doesn't really feel like a real microphone, though.
I know, it doesn't. It is real, though. I promise. It's not
Okay.
just a prop.
Okay, it feels really light.
So Boys Like Girls is supporting the Jonas Brothers on tour soon.
We're doing that.
What do you have planned for that?
We're doing that. Man, when you get the opportunity to play for people you've never played, we're a band that's been around for a long time, and some people have heard, know our songs from back in the day on the radio, or they're really into it before that, or they just figured it out, or maybe, just maybe, there's some people that will be hearing it for the first time, and that would be a real treat. So you get 45 minutes to bring your best foot forward. We're probably going to play the songs people either came to hear or want to hear, make it as you saw the show today. We kind of try to do as much as we can without talking, I want it to feel a little less like song, and a little more like an experience, a little more like, not like a DJ set, but, every song sort of melodically goes into the next one. We'll probably do a version of that. And just, try to pack as many songs into that 45, 50 minutes as humanly possible.
And you toured a lot, so do you still have something that you do to prepare for a tour like that?
I do a lot. And I take it maybe even a little more seriously than I should. But I do a lot. I really love what I do. And I love playing shows just I love my family and my friends, and then it's playing shows is second, I love it. I love that energy exchange, and it's what I always felt so safe and comfortable on stage. For whatever reason, it was a true extension of myself. So maybe I starved for attention when I was a kid or whatever it was, but I love it. So I want to do my best. So with the Boys Like Girls music, with other music it's easier, but with Boys Like Girls music, I wrote all these songs when I was 18, and I wanted, it was back then it was this contest to see who could sing the highest.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm pushing the dreaded 4-0 and like still trying to sing these songs that I was like when my voice was changing, you know? So what I usually do is I'm fasting all day when I play.
Oh.
So if I eat, so like today, like last night, my last meal before the show today was at like 6 p.m. last night. So we ate at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse at the Toronto airport.
So you made it count?
Made it count, had a ribeye. And then like no water for an hour after I eat, and then I don't eat until the show other than bone broth. I'll do bone broth. And I also eat like straight grass-fed butter. Like I'll eat the butter.
So what does that do?
It keeps the acid reflux. So like when you eat a lot, like it'll push it up and then it'll make your vocal inflamed. Especially like fucked up like festival catering and stuff. It'll smoke you. So I'm doing that, and then I usually do about 20 miles to 25 miles on a road bike while singing. It's a fucking heavy load. And then I do like 20 minutes of breath work.
So the biking while singing is to prepare
It's like
you for like
fasting and then I
endurance?
bike while I sing. Yeah, it warms my voice up so I can go like, you know, run around a leather jacket on stage.
Right.
And be able to like support and hit the notes. I think you know, if somebody paid money to see us play, I don't want to give them a half-assed version of what they know from the record. I want to be able to hit the notes.
Yeah.
And if what it takes is not eating for 24 hours to make sure there's no acid in my stomach that pushes up and inflames my cords, sitting on the earth and breathing so I have enough breath support and biking 20 miles while singing, like, I'll do it.
I could do the eating butter part, but I think
straight stick, man.
I think that's where it
straight
ends for
stick
me.
to the head. That's where I lose some people. They're like I'm just eating a stick of butter.
I get it.
You get the fat in without the substance, you know.
But you're still learning lessons on tour too. What happened with the steamer? Someone almost started a fire? What happened?
Yeah. Okay, I'm tracking what you're talking about. There was a social media post where we were talking about the secret.
And you said someone plugged, it was the wrong type of plug.
You go overseas, man, and you're so jet lagged that like you forget that they have like 210 and
Yeah.
And it's the same shape. So you just stick it in there. I remember when we first went to Singapore. No, it was Jamil. I remember the first time we went to Singapore, like I like almost started a fire in the hotel because I plugged a hair straightener back when we were like flat ironing our hair in like 2008. And it smoked and fried it. Like it was like back in the day, like everybody had the Chi. Remember the Chi? You had a Chi. Remember the Chi? CHI did.
I don't think so.
It's like an entry-level CVS hair straightener that everybody had. But you know,
no, I was using like my family's clothing iron.
Whoa, get it.
At that time.
Yeah, the clothing iron.
So mine was much more dangerous than the Chi. I should have had the Chi. I should have had the Chi. I was using my
cranking it like fully wet.
Straightening iron.
Sizzling that shit.
2 is Better Than 1 is one of my faves.
Thank you.
I cried so hard to that song.
Thank you. Did you cry today?
I did cry today. No joke, though.
You cried
We've been doing interviews straight all day, and I could hear it, and my brain was going, you can't do this right now.
Who were you interviewing?
You're talking.
Who were you interviewing when you cried during 2 has Been the One?
It was nonstop all day, so I don't remember. But also that's because you distracted me.
Who was she interviewing during our show? I want to know.
I like that you're
I want to know because I want to see. I want to go back and I want to watch
you
it.
Should.
I want to make
you
sure
should.
her ass was
You'll
crying.
clock the moment that I'm trying to listen, and my brain is going to.
Somebody got engaged on stage today during 2's Been the One.
Really? And I missed it?
Some guy hit me up on Instagram and he was like, can I engage to my girl during your show? And I was like, what song? I'm like, I knew what he was going to say. And I was like, I got you. So, you know, our TM brought him side stage and like she thought it was for her 30th birthday.
If you have Rise Against or Moneen, I think.
Either Rise Against or Moneen. Yeah. Who was first?
Rise Against is though.
Okay, so it was during Moneen. Okay, I'm gonna watch that interview. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna make sure you were crying.
I hope you do. You're in for a treat.
All right, for a treat.
Okay, so someone got engaged. Continue. I want to hear the story about the engagement.
Oh no, they were. Yeah, so she thought it was their 30th birthday present. So they're side staged, and I was like, yeah, you bring them closer. And so they're like rocking out. Like I don't know these people, right? Like I've met them on Instagram, right? Like the guy, I don't know the girl. And it came time, I saw him like sweating bullets, and I was like, come on, Chief, let's go, sport. Get down there, do your thing. It was cute. The crowd erupted. It was great. We didn't make a huge deal about it. I wanted it more be about their moment. Like I didn't stop the show. I just he did it and we started the song and it was super cute. It's good.
Well, that's nice.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And you don't worry that the person's not going to say yes.
I had a thought. Okay, so I had a thought. It happened today, and I saw her mouth go like shut up. There's no way. Stop it. And I was like, I really hope. No, she was just reacting, and then she started crying and whatever.
Okay, that's good. Because I mean, if they say no, do you change the song that you're singing? Do you have to just
No, send it.
You just keep going.
Send it.
And I remember
and I'll be
it was Faber Drive. It was Faber Drive because it was Faber Drive because they were talking about how disappointed they were that they didn't get to watch you. And no, maybe it was.
I toured with Faber Drive.
No,
I toured with Faber Drive in Connecticut.
That was Faber Drive, right? Because we were chatting with them, and that's when it was. Because yes,
not
I remember.
Okay, I'll watch that.
So yeah, and yeah.
I toured with Faber Drive in 2000, late 2009 in Canada, and I think it was the absolute apex of our rock stardom, and I was so high on drugs that I never watched their show one time. But I do like that band.
Well, they still love you because they were really. They said during the interview that they were sad that they weren't get to watch you. And I was
those sweet
I'm sorry,
boys.
do you want to go?
It's with Faber and Headley and the Canada stuff. But it was how you guys have that really cold late February where everybody tours because there's nothing else to do but go see shows.
Yes.
It's really hard to tour during that month up here, man. It's because you're just in the back of a dusty hockey arena.
Why did you have to make it the stereotypical hockey arena?
That's where it was.
You were I was at a hockey arena, covered in maple syrup.
You're in fucking Thunder Bay. You're where I don't know where I am. I'm in Thunder Bay. I'm in I don't know what hockey team this is.
That's hilarious.
I love Canada. I just want to tour here in May.
Yeah, I get that.
Or September.
June, September. I feel like it's
June,
good.
September?
August is a little hot.
August hot everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. How do you feel about performing Great Escape now? Do you still love it?
Here's what I'd say about performing The Great Escape. I think it's important to recognize the horse that brought you. And so I think a lot of bands and artists will stop playing their biggest hit because they start to resent it.
Yes.
And we're not going to mention names or whatever, but I think that's bullshit. And I don't know. It's I was talking about I don't want this interview to be about look how much I do for the people who bought a ticket, right? It's not. I love playing, right? I love it. It's what it gives me a lot of satisfaction and makes me feel strong as a man, and it rewards me. It's what I've always wanted to do as a kid and as an adult, and I missed it when I wasn't playing. Instead of not playing it, we started playing it twice.
I love that.
We're just we're gonna do the opposite thing. I remember there was you remember when Limp Bizkit put out the Significant Other record, and there was a show, they got shut down in New York City, and they played Nookie twice on the rooftop and then got shut down. They played it back to back. They didn't play any other songs. They didn't play their old hits. They just played their hit twice, right? I remember, you know what it was for me? What it was for me was, do you remember Baby Bash? Was that big in Canada?
I don't remember it, but what? No.
Remember Baby Bash? He had a song called Sugarfly, and he had a song called Cyclone in 2008.
I do remember that.
So the ages of the jingle jams and the summer jams, you're going to pop radio with a song and you play all these, fucking sort of corporate events, right? It's great because they're playing your song and everybody but it's very mishmashed. You're playing with it's Boys Like Girls and Fall Out Boy playing with Rihanna and Justin Bieber, And I remember we're playing acoustic at some arena because there's no budget for to play full band because it's the modern payola is the band will play for free, spin the record, whatever. So we're playing we're going to play a 5-song set acoustic. Baby Bash comes out ahead of us. He's got really 2 hits and he's got a 3-song set, right? Comes out, 9 background dancers. They're all shaking these fucking towels, right? And they do Cyclone, front to back. Move your body like a cyclone. They go off stage. They come back on. Baby Bash comes out alone. Sings Sugarfly. Place goes crazy. Goes off stage, right? You think he's maybe done. No, he's not done. All the boys come back out stage. They're shaking it. Dust Cyclone again. End of set. I'm standing side stage with my little acoustic getting ready to play, you know, fucking Hero, Heroin, and Thunder, or whatever we're going to play. And I'm like, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And it stuck with me to the point where now I'm like, no, you got to play it twice.
Yeah.
Play it 3 times, once acoustic in the middle. Play it.
Obsessed.
That's why they came. Give it to them.
Amazing. I love that perspective. Because again, like, I'll leave them nameless too, but I have had fans complain about their biggest songs and say they're not going to play them. And I think the same thing. I go, that's bullshit.
I've said this in an interview before, but it does feel like this. Okay, so I wrote The Great Escape when I was 18. I'm 39 now. So, okay, that's 21 years ago. So, like, when you're 18, right? Probably like a senior. What do you call it? Do you call it university or like high school? What do you call it? You're fucking high school? Whatever, high school.
Yeah.
So you're a senior in high school and you have like a paper to write for English class, okay? So like imagine getting up on the main stage, the All Your Friends Festival, and you're like holding that like, and everybody's going fucking crazy, and you gotta read that paper front to back, and you're like, why are you guys going crazy? So I don't want to read this paper anymore. I was 18, you know, but I didn't write it, man. Like, I didn't write it like they did, dude. Like, I didn't write, it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not even mine. I don't remember writing it. It's not about me anymore. I'm just a vehicle, and it's okay. But it fed my family.
Yeah.
I like the house I live in. I paved the street, dude. Play it twice.
And what else are you working on?
Dude, we're doing a new record. It's great. Really fun, man. You know, we like wiped the dust off the business, like after like, you know, I was making music for other people and everybody was doing different stuff, and you know, it felt good to play. So it was like, let's just keep the run going. So we started making new music obviously in like 21, 22, put out a record in 23, and started kind of like putting together the pieces for another record right away. It was good. I think we're gonna put a bow on it after we do this Jonas run, which will be cool. We'll be back here in a couple weeks, and we'll see how it goes. We have we have plans of how the next 2 years is going to look, and it's intensive for the band. But I want to shut it down and really like make sure it's the best record we can possibly make.
Amazing. And the question I've been asking everybody, what posters did you have on your wall when you were a kid? So like, you know, you're kicking back on your inflatable furniture. Who was on your wall?
So when I had one of those rooms that you see like, you know, in like 90s collages, like, you know, like the posters that are all, you don't see
no wall left. Yeah.
But it was all ski stuff. I was really avid skier.
Interesting.
So in 2000, my AOL Instant Messenger screen name was Twin Tip Skier, because like they came out with Solomon came out with a ski called the 1080. There was like not the little ones that were around for a little while, but there was a long ski. It like had a turned up tail so you could land tricks backwards, and it sort of changed the ski industry. And I got really into freestyle skiing and like urban freestyle skiing, where you'd like build a little jump and like do a rail or whatever. And I grew up in like northern Massachusetts and in Maine, and I was pretty like keen to go pro. Like I really wanted to like be a professional free, but I started a little late, and music was really important to me, and I had to make the choice between like going to ski school and skiing every day, skiing like 125 days a year, or like doing music, and I picked music.
Okay, and
but it was ski shit everywhere.
Okay with that decision now?
It was like, you know, whoever the big skiers were, like Seth Morrison and like Glenn Plake and like whatever, like on my ceiling.
And who was your first celebrity crush? Was it also a skier?
What's up?
No. I mean, I was born in '85, man. So like, it was like, you know when record stores had like posters that you could go through. I don't know that I had a celebrity crush, but I know that like in the 90s, if you were at like Newberry Comics or like Tower Records, right, and you were going through the posters, who would have been the hot chick with the big boobies that would have been on the posters?
I feel like there's probably a lot of people that fit that description.
Anyone that Charlie's Angels cast.
Yeah. Charlie's Angels cast?
Pamela Anderson?
Yeah. It was Pam Anderson, but it was like a little more girl next door. I can see her face in my head, but I forget her name. I don't know that I really.
Alicia
I was gonna try to drop a cool '90s name, but are you gonna chat GPT it?
No, this is not that.
Oh, okay.
This is very much a drawing board that has no technology.
I thought you had a patent. Okay, I can do a drawing board. So,
I'm just going to assume it's Kelly Kapowski and move on.
I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna remember her name. It was like, it was like a model. It was like I guess and then it became Maxim. Like was like the sort of, and then it, but it was like before. Like I was too young for like Penthouse or Playboy or something like that, and I was like, I didn't really watch all the movies. Like I don't know. I don't really have a.
Well, we've been having everyone ask questions to the next person all day. So Underoath wrote you a message. Perfect. And they said, ask Martin why he's so good at songwriting and why he's so good looking. That was their question for you. If you can read that, that's what they wrote.
Sweet. That's sweet.
So that you have to answer the question.
I love them, man. They're on right now, and I'm like Faber, dude.
Everyone's
like Faber.
sad to be talking to me.
Why don't we just fucking go over there, man? And we'll sit side stage. You bring all this shit. You bring the inflatable couches, and we'll watch Underoath.
Look, you could go watch Underoath, but you have to answer why you're so good at songwriting. They want to know.
They just dropped the hit right then, dude. I've been trying to pay attention. That's why I forgot the name of my '90s crush. Can see the poster. My mom would let me buy it. It's like, one of those like bikinis that's only covering up the nip. I can't answer that shit.
Okay, that's fine.
It's really sweet though. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate the compliment. I mean, I haven't drank in a really long time, and that usually keeps the wrinkles away.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you so much for coming in to chat with me. Your 10th studio album, Ricochet, it's coming out August 15th. So what can the fans expect from that?
Yeah, our 10th album. I think we made a record that people aren't expecting, maybe. I think we made a record that instead of saying, oh, this is Rise Against, like I think they'll say, wait, this is Rise Against, And so I think that for a band that's been around as long as we've been around, like to do that this far into our careers, I think it's a pretty cool thing.
So how does it differ from the others?
You'll have to wait and see.
It's a surprise.
Wow. You guys aren't going to give me the hot tea today. You're just like, you got to wait, pal.
We switched instruments.
Okay.
He's not telling the truth.
No.
He's not going to.
I'm not going to. No.
How has the response been from the first few singles?
Good.
Pretty good, yeah. Really good. It's been fun that we've been playing 2 songs live, Nod and I Want It All. It's been fun to kind of introduce that into our live show. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
They seem to be singing along now. It's been out long enough, so it's good.
And you guys are getting ready to co-headline with Papa Roach.
Yeah, actually, so we already did the first leg of it.
Okay.
With Papa Roach and also Underoath, who are here today. They opened the whole thing, and we will resume the tour as a second leg in September.
Yeah, mid-September.
So a lot of East Coast kind of stuff.
So you've been touring for a long time. Like at this point, like what do we like about touring? What do we not like about touring?
I mean, I love coming back to like these cities. It's been a long time since I've been in Toronto.
Yeah.
And so coming here and just kind of like taking the temperature and seeing what's changed and getting to the good restaurants and good coffee spots and like meeting up with old friends, that kind of thing. That's what makes travel, I think, a lot of fun. I don't know, you guys?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I went to the Pride March last night with my buddy Damian Abrams from the band F'd Up.
Little plug.
Yeah. But just Toronto pals, and it's awesome to be able to kind of check up back in with everybody. These are family friends, So.
That's great. And I mean, you guys have been doing this for like over 25 years. So much has changed in that time. So what does it feel like the most for you guys, like in terms of what's changed from then to now?
Oh my God.
I don't know how to answer
I mean, when we started, we were in a van.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as social media, and we were like filling out SoundScan reports on Wednesdays to tell you how many CDs we sold at a show somewhere.
To boost the weekly overall sales of our physical records.
And then we pull out an atlas
Yeah.
No cell phones.
To the next gig.
Phone booths were a thing.
Phone booths.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'd stop at a Denny's after the show to eat, and then we would grab the hotel clip-on coupon books from the front of the Denny's.
Yeah.
And try to figure out where the cheapest hotels were. But yeah, none of us had phones.
You have no idea what we're talking
No,
about.
this is okay. I'm 36,
we lost her.
so I know some of it. I just used to print off, MapQuest.
Oh my God!
But
Yeah,
you said-
MapQuest was huge when it came
Yeah.
out. That was
Yeah.
like that might as well have been like
Yeah.
artificial intelligence.
Oh,
for
totally.
Us. Like, that changed
Yeah, you had a map this big. You'd lay out on
Yeah.
the dash of the van
Yeah.
outside the city before
I mean-
you got lost.
Yeah, everything's changed. Like certainly the way we travel, definitely the way music is released and also consumed or digested or whatever. Every time we put out a record, this will be our 10th one, the landscape had changed. You know what I mean? By the second record, it was like, you guys got to do MySpace. By the third record, it was like, okay, now it's you got to be on Guitar Hero, and that was the thing. And then now it's like, oh, you got to have an end cap at Best Buy and package a T-shirt with your CD, or whatever. And every single time we put a record out, it was a different world, and whatever was happening previously was obsolete technology. And here we are in 2025, and I guess there would now be like short form content, which I'm sure is what this will be turned into, so people can like digest it into like a 15-second sort of attention span. But in the meantime, we just do what we do. We just make songs. We go on stages and fields in the middle of Ontario and play shows for people who love what we do, and that hasn't changed at all.
Well, I'll have you know, the full interview will come out in addition to the clips. In addition to the clips, the full interview will come out. Actually, there is a big conversation right now from a lot of bands around whether or not cell phones should be allowed at shows. What's your guys' stance on that?
I mean, I'm kind of both minds, but as a fan, if you're in that crowd and somebody's just holding a cell phone in your direct line of vision and you're trying to see the stage or whatever, I mean, that's annoying. You know what I mean?
I have a teenage daughter, and she goes to concerts and sits there and films. That's how she enjoys it.
Right.
Because that's all she knows. That's like the technology she grew up with. So, I mean, I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's how, I'm not saying she films the whole thing, but, that's what she knows. So I think everyone consumes it how they know how to. But
Yeah, I think you would absolutely have a better experience without a phone. I don't think that you probably shouldn't be telling people what to do with their time at your show, especially if we're a band called Rise Against. Telling people what to do is not a great idea. Not a great idea.
We have rules.
Here are the rules you must follow. Like, do whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, film the show. I don't give a shit. But like, I will say, we went to. You want to say? Well, tell them.
No, you're good.
Okay, we went to. It was Sasanta.
Yes.
It was Maynard from Tool and Perfect Circle's 60th birthday party show. Primus, Pussifer, Perfect Circle.
Yes.
Did I say that? Okay. And so they didn't make rules, like they weren't enforcing anything, but they just asked. They were like, "Hey, how about you guys put your phones down for most of the show, and then there will be one song, maybe a couple songs, that we will all agree this is the song you will film. So that way you have something to post and say I was there, a memory. But that way you can enjoy 95% of the show." That's the first time I've seen something like that happen. Yeah. People were very respectful of it. Nobody tackled anybody if they did pull out their phone in the second song. And on that song, you saw all the phones come out. And then when the song was done, you saw the phones go back down. And it was kind of like old times. Like, this is what we used to do. You know?
Well, everyone gets what they want.
Right.
And no one, like Danzig, he'll say no cell phones, and that's like the game, right? You try to sneak in. Exactly. Like, look what I got. I got Misfits or Danzig footage.
Well, it's also it also goes into the graveyard of your photos and everything that is in your phone. I've been looking back, like, I was at a concert myself filming, and I never watched it again. I see it months later, like, oh yeah, I filmed that.
Actually, speaking of being called Rise Against.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been getting the bands before you to ask questions. So it's been going along all day in the chain. So I had Winona Fighter before you guys, and they said, did you have any alternative band names before deciding on Rise Against? P.S. Big fans.
Well, thank you for that question, Winona Fighter.
And the answer is yes.
No, don't tell them any of them. Don't tell them
you
any of the
have to tell me
names.
now.
The Led Zeppelin 2.
Led Zeppelin 2.
We were called Transistor Revolt for 3 months. Yeah. Maybe. And then when we signed to Fat Records, Fat Mike didn't like the name. He's like, that name's lame. You got to change it. And then we went through 2 or 3 more months of not really finding a name. Totally. And we settled on Rise Against. and that's what we went with. So here we are.
Yeah, we had a very long journey to the name Rise Against.
We did.
We were very nameless for a while. We threw around a lot of different names. This is already out there, but Fat Mike was getting frustrated with our inability to name our band. So he threw out suggestions. I don't remember all of them, but I will tell you 2 of them.
Okay.
One was Chicago Tar.
Okay.
Sort of ignoring the fact there was already a band called Tar. I think they might have been from Chicago.
They were from Chicago.
Right.
From
They were
Chicago.
touch and go.
They were already the Chicago.
The other one was Jimmy Crack Corn and the I Don't Cares. This is a man who would go on to name a band, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, but we did not take that one. What?
I like
One of them
it.
was It's the Cops.
Oh yeah, just It's the Cops.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, I will say, if we were Jimmy Crack Corn and the I Don't Cares, you would have a stage name.
I would just be Jimmy, all right?
Oh, yeah.
You guys would be the I Don't Cares, the IDCs.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm in the I Don't Cares.
Yeah. So I'm glad. I mean, we were almost 0 to 60 at some point. I want to say.
You know what? We weren't 0 to 60 because Mike had 0 down on the label. He didn't want another 0 band on the label.
I think about that close call.
Yeah.
Because without 0 down, there's a world where we are 0 to 60.
100%.
I don't think Winona Fighter realized the
They already tuned out.
this
They're
question.
like, okay. They're like, it was supposed to be a short
Can we have
answer.
their phone numbers?
Yeah,
I'd like to text
We'd
them.
like
you
to
guys can
continue
text
this conversation.
them. But I'm just glad to hear that there wasn't one of you that was super passionate. It was like, if we're not called 0 to 60, I'm gonna quit the band. And I'm glad we didn't reopen that.
No.
And
And in a way, Rise Against was a name on a list, and we chose it. And it really, I think that picking the name Rise Against was grabbing really big shoes and asking yourself to fill them. If you're gonna call your band Rise Against, then you have to live up to that name.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a way, I feel like it set the bar kind of high for us. So now go and be Rise Against. Be a band called Rise Against.
Right. And the question we've been asking everyone, because we're out here in our living room, in our inflatable furniture, is whose posters did you guys have on your walls when you were younger?
Oh yeah.
What's funny is we went. A lot of us went to there was an exhibit in Sweden that was sort of a tribute.
Total Metal, 40 years of Swedish metal in Stockholm.
It was unbelievable.
Definitely check it out if you happen to be in Stockholm.
And they sort of reenacted. They sort of reenacted a guy's bedroom, like a metalhead's bedroom, and it was my bedroom. So I had Iron Maiden Number of the Beast poster. I had Anthrax Among the Living. I had Metallica's Ride the Lightning poster. And then just and stuff like that, if there was an ad for DRI or whatever. So it was I'm of that age, so this is late 80s, early 90s. So if it was punk or metal or hardcore from that era, they just got and stuck on. So yeah, anybody else?
I had a Rambo poster from First Blood, and then I had David Lee Roth from Van Halen doing the splits off the drum riser.
Yes.
I had a Van
Garage
Halen poster
Days
as well.
Revisited.
Yes.
Metallica.
Yes.
And then I had a Heather Locklear poster.
Dude, we had one.
On the Ferrari.
We just had her
so lame.
I think it was she just had a bikini on or whatever. Yeah. We had that.
Well, that was the next question. Who's your first celebrity crush? So was it Heather Locklear then?
You know what? My first crush was Christy Brinkley from the movie Vacation.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a real good one. Wait, anybody else posters?
Yeah.
Posters rooms.
I had Dead Kennedys on my bed.
And actually, you have a 13-year-old daughter. Did kids still have posters on their walls anymore?
Oh yeah.
She's still putting them up? Okay, that's good. Do you have any?
Oh, I mean the earliest childhood posters I remember are Michael Jordan's wingspan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 6 feet long, and then a giant Lamborghini or something like that. Right, those were the ones that I had. And then once I got into music, it was kind of Zach said, ripping them out of centerfolds of Thrasher or Metal Edge or Rip magazine.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone, and just
Rip was great.
Hanging up those kind of things.
I will say this. My dad bought us a Judas Priest poster, and we weren't listening to Judas Priest yet. I wasn't indoctrinated yet. We came in, and he was all happy because he got us a Judas Priest poster, and we were like, we don't listen to Judas Priest. And I think it bummed him out, so then we started listening to Judas Priest.
That's really nice.
Our dad. Yeah.
Who are great.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that I did.
I mean, it's rad your dad liked Judas Priest.
I know.
I
know.
Yeah.
Here's
was
the
not
song.
on my dad's
Few
radar.
dads like Judas Priest in the 80s. Yeah.
It was Screaming for Vengeance.
Amazing. All right, well, thank you so much, you guys. This was awesome.
Hi.
The Starting Line.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys are releasing your first proper album since 2007. So what finally brought that on?
Ooh, it's a weird, I guess, prompt to say okay, this is why I try to get the other guys to do the interviews. It's weird to say this, but we made a switch with management.
Okay.
And this was sort of when we were courting people, or they were courting us, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
When I was speaking to what is our current manager right now, I was of the mind that I was done making Starting Line records, and to be honest, I thought no one would care. And I sort of selfishly had this own attitude where bands that I liked from our era were putting out new records, and I really didn't like any of them besides like Braid, and no one listened to that Braid record besides me by all accounts. No disrespect, Braid, but I'm just saying, like, it's your best record, and I feel like I'm the only one that's saying that. So we talked to him, and I sort of expressed that to him, saying that I don't know if anyone's going to care. And he just said simply, I think that that's an insecurity thing. And that one line totally flipped a switch in me where I was just like, I'm not insecure. I'm really good at writing music. I'm secure in that.
So he used reverse psychology on you.
100%. And he wasn't even our manager yet. This was just the call to like see if maybe we gelled. And obviously we did, and it really lit a fire under me to get inspired and also prove to myself that I do still have the stuff to do this. And I also want to prove other people wrong too, that anyone thought that our best days were behind us. I want to show people that we're still like meeting the potential of this band.
And what can fans expect from Eternal Youth?
Eternal Youth is, if anyone listened to our most recent record, Direction, I think it's a step down that road. Rather than trying to go back and do some nostalgia baiting of what our first record sounded like, it wasn't all that, and it's not even trying to sound like what the most recent records sound like. We're just trying to think, what is the next step? And also to harness the energy of what we were feeling when we first started this band, when we first just started playing with each other, when making records wasn't about just getting into an album cycle. We really were just trying to collect our best songs and just have the most quality concentrated collection of songs that we could. And as far as the philosophy of making the record, I really didn't want any bells and whistles on it. I also didn't want it to sound like a completely undercooked raw punk rock record. I wanted it to sound like the best parts of what goes into an album like Nevermind or like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Like if you listen to those records, there's some effects and there's some production tricks or whatever you call them, like tools, like doubling and stuff like that, but nothing goes overboard where they're trying to use technology beyond the point of its benefit. So with that spirit, I was always just trying to scale back overcooking it. I just wanted it to be like a simple meal that had all delicious ingredients that you can actually taste and is not covered by a bunch of other accoutrement.
I feel like that's a great advertisement for the album. That's excellent.
I hope so. Thanks.
And what inspired Sense of Humor?
Sense of Humor was one of the earlier ones in the songwriting process. And so it was kind of just a standpoint of the tempo and the velocity and the vocal delivery of the vibe that I wanted to set for the rest of the record. And then in terms of subject matter, it's a lot about having confidence in your ability, whether it be whatever, like for me, it's making music, and being in this band for almost 30 years, you have to do a lot of gut checks to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and that you're not being influenced by just popularity or trends, and also not comparing yourself to every Sam, Dick, and Harry that's on the stage with a microphone. It's about knowing how unique we are, even though we're not perfect, It's about knowing that this is our place in the world of music and no one else can have it. No machine or nobody trying to paint by numbers with what we did in 2002 or beyond will be able to do it as long as we have a pure form of expression.
Well, and you talk about popularity. You guys were name-checked twice in Taylor Swift's song Black Dog. So have you had like a surge of like Taylor Swift crossover fans since then checking you out?
No.
No? That's not the answer I was expecting. They're so intense. I expected them to be like, who are they? We are fans now too.
They were, for a few days, they were like that.
For a few days. Did you know that was coming, or did it just come out and then you guys got tagged? And
I think maybe 48 hours before it hit the streets, we heard a leak.
Wow. And are you going to name drop Taylor Swift on your album?
No.
Okay. What was the first song that you guys were rehearsed together as a band? Do you remember?
Way back in the day?
Yeah.
That we first rehearsed.
Like when you got together as a band and you're like seeing if you could cook.
Well, it was just sort of, when I came in, I wasn't even the bass player yet. The very first practice, we had our buddy Sean playing bass, and they sent me a demo tape of just a couple riffs that they were kicking around, and I think one was even a Mooney song, which was a band that Sean was in before. And Sean went on to, he pretty much quit after that practice, and they told me to bring my bass the next time. We didn't really like jam out on a lot of covers. It was pretty much just trying to throw some riffs around, play along with each other, sing some nonsense into the mic, and it was already just doing that sounded leaps and bounds better than a lot of the stuff I was trying before.
Well, that's cool. And I'm asking everybody, because we're out here on our inflatable furniture, when you were younger, whose poster did you have on your wall? Like when you would have had one of these inflatable couches, whose poster did you have on your wall?
I had quite a few posters on my wall. I had like concert posters. So I had like that Coop guy who did a bunch of the famous illustrations for the Golden Voice posters. I had like Descendants, and I still have a Nirvana poster from Spencer's Gifts, like framed in my room from when I was childhood.
I love that you remember where it's from.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Spencer's, they had all the good posters. Yeah.
And who was your first celebrity crush?
I think it was Mandy Moore.
Oh, good one.
You know, she seemed like a nice gal.
Yeah. And she's like cool too.
She's kind of cool, you know. She could act like she was understated, you know. Candy, banger.
And I was talking to Ash Malloy before this, and she had a question for you.
Sorry, who has a question?
Ash Malloy. So she's playing here today too.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was talking to her before you, and she said, "What is your favorite song to play live?"
My favorite song to play live is "Are You Alone?" It's maybe a deep cut off of our last record, Direction, but it's kind of a mainstay in the set. No matter how short of a set we have, we'd all just really enjoy playing. It's usually our first sound check song too, just because it's old hat, feels good.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us. I hope you have fun today. I'm going to get you to write a question for the next band we have, and yeah, we're going to have a great time.
Thanks for having me.
Underoath, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thank you.
Your album, Define the Great Line, it turns 20 next year.
It does.
So we saw They're Only Chasing Safety tour. So are we going to get an anniversary tour for
Maybe.
Define the Great Line?
Right now we are. We just put a new record out, so that's kind of what we're focused on right now.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that.
We've talked about it some.
We don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We would like to. I mean, you know, we're all really proud of obviously everything we've done, but that record was special for us. So if it makes sense, we'll do it.
Okay.
We'll see though.
And what has the response been like for the place after this one?
It's been really great. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard these days because like when you've been in a band for a long time, people just play your old stuff. You know, that's sort of the narrative when you've been in a band for a long time. But I feel like with this one, there wasn't as much hate as our previous two. You know, this is our third one we've done since we got back together, and I feel like, yeah, there's less hate on this one, and I see people saying they love it. So but the only place you really get feedback is the internet.
Which is like a bit of a yikes, like a mixed bag.
And you kind of try to ignore that stuff too. It's like we see it's
people respond to it live, which is what really matters. And
if you live your life in the comments, I mean, that's a dark place.
Someone wrote on my video the other day that I have a face for radio. So I know. Okay.
But I mean, could you imagine like getting to the tier of like being a band as long as like Green Day or Metallica at this point? Like, I mean, I'm sure if they sat around, read what people said about play your old stuff, and we don't want to hear, you know, it's like
you make records because you love making music together, and you make the music you believe in, and
as long as you're happy, you're fine, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter what anybody
says.
says.
I think the reality is, you know, like, we're not a new band, and people... You know, I did read the other day someone had just discovered us on this album, which is super cool, but for the most part, you know, your fans connect you to a time and place. And they'll still listen to the new songs and love the new songs, or not, and come to the shows. But you make music because you have to.
But we're all similar in that way, right? Like, I have a special place. So I've been a Deftones fan since Adrenaline, because I've got an older brother who was into that kind of music way before I was. But I'm still going to listen to the new Deftones whenever they released it, and I'm still going to go, even if it wasn't my favorite, I would still go see them.
Yeah.
You know, because I love their career, their catalog. You know, it's like, I don't know. I don't think we really worry about that stuff as much as we did when we first got back together. We were more concerned than we are now. Now we're just like, let's make that we want to make and be happy playing it. Because the worst thing you can be is up there playing a song you don't like.
Yes.
So as long as you like
especially if you're making music if you're like, I want to make this so the fans love it, or I want to make this so it's popular, that's bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you get bad art, you know?
And you're always going to play music from whenever you started becoming popular. Like, so for us, it was 04 with Chasing Safety forward. So we're going to play songs off of all those records because we're going to celebrate our catalog. We've been a band long enough to where we know people that are coming for their 50th time. We know people that are coming for their first time. So we're going to give you a little bit of everything. And that's going to include some new stuff. That's definitely going to include everything from our past catalog. From 04 on, pretty much.
That's a short answer for your question.
Yeah. We love to talk, by the way.
No, this is great. Because what do you think is different about the new album compared to the other ones?
Oh, I mean, you grow and you live life and you see things and you get hurt and you have children and you get happy. And I mean, the people that we were in 2004 versus 2024, 2025, you know, that album was recorded in 2024, but like, that's 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, think about who you were 20 years ago.
No.
And we're at an age now, we're all in our early 40s, you know, we're all 41, 42 years old. And so now it's like, I mean, when I was 20, and the world was different, so different. Like, we didn't have cell phones till we were 21, 22 years old. So like,
because cell phones weren't available, we didn't have money.
Yeah. So, but when we were 20 years old, and then the phones you got weren't on the internet. Mm-hmm. So, like, when we were 20 years old, we were so naive because, like, I really believe, like, my son is 13. My oldest child is 13. And I think he is smarter than I was when I was 20. I'm dead serious.
Yeah, like, 20 in 2004 is like, we were boys. You know, like, we didn't know what we stood for. We didn't really know what we believed in. We were still doing the stuff that we grew up doing. You know, we were like little kids, really. And then we were hitting the road, sharing stuff with people. It was just kind of wild if you think about it now, because I think somewhere in our 30s, mid-30s, we started to become men that had some individuality and things to say and things we believed in, things we didn't believe in. So it's kind of crazy to think a record you wrote when we were like 18, 19 years old is the first thing that got
everything's
popular.
different. You live life, you have different influences, you consume different media. You know what I mean? Like, you grow apart. Like, we all love each other, but we're all different individuals now. Yeah. And those first few records you're making is like the same person almost. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you get your own individuality. So it's different in, you know, to answer the question in another short answer, it's different in every way. It's different and completely different in every way. And the same in the sense where it's our hands and feet and voices, but that's about the only thing probably, you know?
Kind of scary thought. Like, now, like, a band was a band of people, a group of people that thought the same things, dressed the same, had the same kind of fuel in the tank. And now, like, young bands don't get that anymore because everyone's individualized from what they follow on social media to the podcasts they listen to. Like, there wasn't podcasts and, you know, things to follow and reels to watch when we were 18, you know? Yeah. It was, we all were they're like, maybe that's what's different about music. We were all listening to the same the van and going into a garage space and making music because you couldn't make music on a laptop because laptops were too expensive back then. Like, you know, it was just a different world. I think that really has changed music, and some for the better, some for the worse. But yeah, kids now that are 18 are twice as smart as we were that we were 18, but they all have their own individual taste and personalities because your computer in your back pocket,
right?
You know,
I mean, music now for the most part, I think, is consumed in 16-second blurbs. You know what I mean? Like, and when we started, we listened to albums because there was no iPods yet. You know what I mean? So you had to, like, you could skip a song, but you had to listen to a whole song, at least a whole song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, I mean, we've had marketing people tell us that people are going to consume your music in 16-second clips. That's how they see it, you know.
Right.
And it's so different now.
Yeah, that will never change the way we're album people still. Me and him are vinyl collectors.
We're old dogs, man.
Like,
listen, boy.
Man, no, I know. I met a lot of young kids, man, that are collecting vinyl and stuff too, which is promising. You know, I think that's really cool to see. And I'm seeing a lot of these younger bands. They're bringing back guitar amps and
definitely. We're definitely not the people who are like, music's changed for the worst. You got to get on the fucking internet to listen to a song. Like, I think it's all good.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's good.
Different, yeah.
Like, it's inspiring to me that a 13-year-old kid can make a song in his bedroom for no dollars. That's cool.
Yeah.
When I was 13, it was, $10,000 to record a single song. You know what I mean? It's cool. So it's changed in every way. Every aspect of this art form, of this industry, if this is a business, if this is a passion, every aspect has changed.
And the pendulum always swings. What's cool now might not be cool in 5 years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of ride the wave and do what you do because you love it. That's really all that matters.
Well, and you talked about, like, you know, you guys have grown, you have kids now, and I promised these guys I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm going to anyway because they can't hear me because of the stage. So you talked on a podcast about your wife's C-section, and
oh yeah,
you were talking about that. Actually, I don't remember who said it.
There was no substances involved, by the way, with that.
What if you said, I'd like to see her section, and I spit my coffee out my nose. But when you were talking about that, now my partner Dan, when he talks about it, he says that it was worse for him because he had to watch.
You had one.
And
Okay.
in the way that you were talking about it, it kind of sounded like you thought that too. So I need you to say that it is worse for her than it was for you, even though you had to see everything.
We talk about it all the time, and I say it was so morbid and brutal. And she goes, well, you aren't the one getting fucking cut open. So obviously,
thank you.
Obviously it's worse for you guys. But our situation, and he has a similar one as well. It was an emergency C-section.
Okay.
So it was so fast. It was like, uh-oh, there's a problem. And I'm not exaggerating. 3 to 6 minutes later, we held our baby. Wow. From one room to the operating room and this was also during COVID, so everything was super heightened.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell that story, because they were literally slinging her body parts at.
It's crazy.
And when it's an emergency,
and no one ever talks about it.
When it's an emergency, so it did like you can edit this out, TBD. I got a vasectomy 3 weeks later. I was like, I'm never, ever having children again. No, it fucked me up.
Okay, but it's still
worse for you guys.
Okay.
You guys carry the baby for 9 months and then do that shit. I get it. But she doesn't. To your partner's defense, a piece is she doesn't remember any of it.
That's true.
She was on fucking drugs.
Sort of in a way. Yes.
I was there.
And on a slightly different note, because we're out here on our inflatable furniture, I am asking, whose posters did you have on your wall when you were kids?
When we were kids, I had a lot of Nirvana stuff on my wall. I remember I got the Foo Fighters debut album, and I went to the record store. The guy gave me the promotional poster off the wall, and it was I think it was a different artwork, or the artwork they were promoting. It was like this bald dude, cartoonish looking drawing. I have to find it on the internet. You can find it still. And I had a lot of skateboarders on my wall.
Yeah, for me, it was drummers and the Atlanta Braves baseball players, and I think Nirvana was probably my first
love.
Nirvana was the first thing for me that I felt like was mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the first thing, I was in 5th grade when Smells Like Teen Spirit was #1 everywhere. It was the biggest song in the world. And we did this thing.
We were young. We were young into that, but yeah.
In 5th grade, whatever it was, in 5th grade, it was the song. And I I was 10, and we did this thing where you go and act like you have a career. In America, it's kind of common, like in your 5th grade year, they take you to a place. Ours was called Enterprise Village, and it's like a functioning mall, small, and there's like a furniture store and a bank and a McDonald's, and kids run the city for the day.
What?
And yeah, it's not to the public; it's just to your school. But there was like a radio station there, and I'll never forget it. My friend was the DJ. That's the job everybody wanted that day. I had to work at like the fucking furniture store or something, but my friend was the DJ that day.
The banker.
And he played. Did you guys do that at school? You know what I'm talking about?
We didn't get to do all this cool stuff.
But my friend
we
was the
did
DJ, and
something
he played Smells Like Teen Spirit 87 times that day. That was like the first thing that like I remember being like. And my dad, I grew up in a super strict Christian home, so I didn't have a lot of music posters because we were only allowed to listen to Christian music. We had to sneak to listen to anything else. But every Friday, my dad would secretly get drunk, and he had 200 vinyl, and I have most of them today, and all great shit. Led Zeppelin, all the good shit.
Why did you have to sneak it if he had 200 vinyl?
Because it was like unacceptable to listen to this music. It was wrong, but he still knew it slapped and loved it, and wanted to share it with me.
Right.
So he would put headphones on my head, and I'm estranged from my father. But I've been talking about this more recently. But like, he turned me on to like the dope shit that I still love. You know what I mean? Yeah. Secretly, and in some ways, I'm glad that I grew up that way, because it felt like it was mine. Like, I remember he put Pet Sounds on one time, the Beach Boys, and he put headphones on me. Now it must have been 6 or 7 years old, and it felt like a drug. Like, it felt like somebody was putting heroin into my veins. You know what I mean? And I still, like, now at 42 years old, like, I still hear a chord progression, and it can make me feel. And I like that. Music wasn't disposable to me. It was sacred because it was wrong somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that it's my life, I still have a piece of that sacred thing, which is cool.
And who was your first celebrity crush, if you were allowed to have one?
I don't know. I gotta be honest with you. Like, we weren't like, when we were young, all we cared about was playing fucking rock and roll music. Like, I don't remember being like into girls. I mean, I was, but like,
yeah, but some of our friends were girl crazy, and we were like, it's funny because I talk about this all the time now. It's like almost like we were career crazy. I didn't know what it was. When I was a kid, I was like, yeah, I can, if you want to be my girlfriend, but you can watch me at band practice or go skateboarding. Like, I wasn't doing all that.
Even then, we got started in the local scene. There was all these kids that always had like pretty chicks around. And we were just like, when do you like?
We also looked 6 when we were like 18. Me and Aaron, especially, we looked like little boys. I don't think girls were really interested in us until later.
Like, there was local bands, and I'd always be like, damn, dude, like, there's always like girls hanging out with you guys, and we just never.
We never had that.
We never had that. We didn't give a shit either. We would just we'd break into apartments to swim in the hot tubs, and like, we just didn't get. We were like feral animals when we were younger, like, straight up.
Yeah.
Well, that is by far the most interesting answer that I've had so far, so thank you for that.
But sure. I mean, I'm sure like back in the days, I don't know, like there was like it was the 90s, so
I mean, I thought like Jewel was hot. Like,
Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox were friends.
Yeah, those were the women back then. Like, in the music space, I loved Jewel. I had a crush on Alanis Morissette when the Ironic video came out and she's in the car. It's like, like, I thought that was super cool, but I wanted to be fucking Dave Grohl. I don't know how to explain it to you in any other way. That's all I cared about. Like, straight up.
The starting line was my last interview, and I asked if he had a question for you. How do you play so tight when you rock out so hard? That's the question.
We've been doing this forever.
We've been doing the same thing our whole lives.
And we blare a click track in our ears, too.
And we're blaring a click track in our ears. And we turn everything up super loud to listen to in our ears as music. We're no good if it's not hard. You know what I mean?
Is that rain? Is it raining?
Is it raining?
It's misting?
I think it's the smoke machine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just loud or nothing. That's kind of our thing.
Amazing.
I think we suck at soft.
And also, like, we come from the era where you weren't getting signed when you were, because you made a great song and it was on the internet. We've mentioned this multiple times. Like, you had to be good live for someone to be like, hey, go check that band out. We might give them a record deal. We've always been better. I still believe this today, we're better live than we are on record. We still haven't made the record that sounds like us live yet. You know, like I'm always like, we're just a better live band than anything.
We just are. I mean,
that's just where we grew up. though.
My biggest connections to music, like again, I told you about the Pet Sounds thing and my dad sneaking records to me, but like the moments that imprinted my brain are when I saw bands live, like in our local scene, even
live music is everything.
Like when I saw it changed me, like, and I can remember how I felt and how it sounded still today, stuff from 25 years ago. You know what I mean? So I think for us, it's just always been that. Like, we're trying to capture a
feeling,
a lightning in a bottle on stage, and that's why it's like that.
Amazing. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey guys,
Hey.
Faber Drive.
How's it going?
Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you for having us.
You guys released Lifeline in the spring. Like, what has the response been to that?
It's been great. I screwed it up today, but
What do you
apart from
mean?
that, I went way behind the beat. The click was in my ears, and I just fell behind, and I started singing too late. But then Seamus brought me back on.
No,
you rocked it out.
You were fine. Love you.
That was a nice moment of you guys like supporting each other.
Well, he supports me, but I don't support him. So
He tells me I stink.
Like poo.
Well, and obviously the crowd didn't notice because I could hear them going absolutely wild while you guys were playing. So
So much fun.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it exceeded our expectations for sure.
And it's all your friends fest. Who do you guys look forward to seeing when you're here?
The band that's on right now.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, we're just over there. We saw.
Okay.
We got to catch up. It's like so good, boys like girls, so good. And Symbol Plan, obviously.
Yeah. Also, you're gonna stay for Symbol Plan?
Oh,
yeah. Okay, great.
No,
No.
we won't be singing for Symbol Plan, but
I know I wish we could see them in Avril, but we love Simple Plan. Great guys and great musicians. They're just such pros all around, honestly.
There is nothing more that your fans like to do than check in on the video for Tongue Tied, and they just write like 2025, still here, still my favorite song. And if you look through the comments, it happens every year. So how does that feel?
it happens once a year.
Every year. So no, I mean like, and then a bunch of people like it because they're just like, yeah, hell yeah,
We
me
get
too.
one comment per year.
There
It feels
one
great to get one comment per year. We really appreciate it.
No, what's it like to still have the support of your fans, like who are still here with you?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's crazy. Like we don't take it for granted. We're very, very thankful, very appreciative, and it means a lot to us. It's humbling, honestly, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's crazy. I mean, today, like me and Seamus, we've been doing this for forever. It feels like now. And we're like, we don't know what to expect. It's going to be 100 people, a couple hundred people. And in my mind, I have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And then, after today, it was just like, oh man, it was crazy. We didn't, when you're in this, doing it for so long and you haven't been in Ontario for like, 12 years, 13 years or something. So you just don't know if you have fans anymore. And you're like, well, you see the comments and stuff. So there's some fans. We get one comment per year.
You get
right?
one. I told you, so
Yeah.
you're welcome.
So it was nice to come out and have, I don't know, it seemed like a couple thousand or some people out there that were singing along. It was crazy.
Oh, and not only that, but the energy. I would bet every musician goes through that phase of asking themselves, do people still care? And so I know when we're talking to the trailer, I care. I care about you. And I find, like, we were in the trailer and both of us admitted we get a little teary. As you get older, it gets more special. You know what I mean?
Wait, are you like in your 60s?
That's a stretch. In 70s, man. Do I look good still?
Well,
For 70s.
I don't see your grays.
That's
some
great.
bands, I'm not going to name names, but some bands love complaining about playing their biggest hits. So how do you guys feel about Tongue Tied now?
Tongue Tied, no, we're not going to complain about it because it's actually a pet peeve of mine when people complain about it. Because it's like, dude, like, it's a small price to pay. And I get it. Like, if you're the Rolling Stones and you've been playing I Can't Get No Satisfaction for 60 years, like, maybe it would get tiring. But at the same time, people are paying to come see you. They want to hear your greatest hits.
Yeah.
Now, there has been struggles with us in terms of, like, there are some songs that fans are like, I want to hear You and I Tonight. For a long time, we actually didn't play You and I Tonight because I just wasn't that good at singing it. But I've since finally did some practicing, and we can do it a little better now.
It's true. Some songs are just harder live to pull off. Like, if you've ever gone and seen a band and you wonder, why didn't they put this song in the set list? It's probably for some reason along those lines. But
Yeah, more than just they don't like it.
yeah, but when it comes to complaining about playing the hits, I have zero complaints. If I can be in a band that has one song like that, I have no complaints. I'll play that until I'm hooked up to an oxygen tank and coming out on stage in a walker. And
in your 70s.
In my 70s, like I am now, with no grays.
Amazing. And your son is Pao Fu. So what's it like having him follow in your footsteps?
Yeah, no, it's cool. Sorry, I'm slow to answer that because he is kind of following in my footsteps, but also carving his own
Forging
path
his own
kind of
path,
thing.
of course, yeah.
It's cool. There's a lot of things about the music industry that I don't like, and I kind of voiced my opinion to him over the years and stuff, but I'm also very proud of him, and he's a very humble, very kind, very loving, very giving person. He's just not a normal person, I feel like, on the whole, in terms of, I feel it's very easy to get egotistical in the music industry, especially when you're the star kind of thing. I'm just proud of him. I'm definitely a proud dad. Very, very proud of him. He's a good kid.
You have every right to be.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
And what else are you guys working on?
We got a new punk rock song coming out within the next couple months. We're also recording some. Oh, dude, you can do it. Can you do it with both of these, or can you only do it with one hand?
I can do it with both hands, but I don't know if I can do it.
Try with both.
Man, this is gonna be. They're gonna be like, they ruined our microphones. How about that?
There we go.
Light them on fire now.
Then we're recording three acoustic songs from the first album, our first album, 7 Second Surgery, with 604 Records, and those are coming out. We're not sure when they're coming out, but it's gonna be like 20-year anniversary soon for 7 Second Surgery. So 604 Records called us up and they're like, hey, do you want to record some acoustic songs off that album? And then it'll be a re-release of the album with the acoustic songs on it.
Cool. Okay, so fans have lots to look forward to.
Yeah.
The fans that comment on your YouTube every year, they have lots to look forward to. And I've been asking everyone all day, what posters did you have on your wall when you were a kid? So, like, next to your blow-up couch, what posters were on the wall?
Okay, I can answer. Blink-182.
Yes.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Limp Bizkit. That was one of my go-tos. And Avril Lavigne. Because I was a young boy and Avril rocked, and she was so cool to me.
She rocked so hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm serious. I had an Avril Lavigne poster.
She's awesome.
She's amazing.
What about you?
I think the only poster that I actually remember that was like a band was Hocus Pick Maneuver, which nobody's ever heard of them. But they were like a Christian pop rock band in Vancouver area. And but I would have had Led Zeppelin and U2 if I had found the poster at some point. But
right.
I don't think I ever found a U2 poster or Led Zeppelin poster. I probably would have had Def Leppard up there too, and the Cars.
Well,
Motley Crue.
I've also been asking who your first celebrity crush was, although it sounds like yours was Avril Lavigne.
Oh, was she? Can I admit that here?
I think she's not your
Yes.
So.
When I was a kid, I was in love with Avril, so yeah, I'll fully admit that. I guess.
That's adorable.
Oh, it's gonna be online.
Well,
that's okay.
I am a little bit older, so I'm definitely going to age myself. Cameron Diaz was probably my first celebrity crush. I would
Amazing.
say. She's an actress. I don't think she sings, but
And she's well, she probably could sing. She's pretty much multi-talented.
Yeah.
She has books. She's an actress.
Yeah.
She had a good dance scene in Charlie's Angels, so
Yes,
she's got.
I've never seen Charlie's Angels.
It's great. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, especially with my celebrity crush.
Yeah,
on there.
exactly. She's got a good dance scene in it.
Sweet.
She's got rhythm.
All right. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh, wait. I keep forgetting about my questions.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So we've had the bands. There's a chain going to ask questions. And Moneen was, of course, hilarious about yours because they said, what is a Faber and how do you drive it? Because they had to be hilarious with your question.
Well, I guess you could say I'm a Faber and my wife drives me crazy. That's pretty cheesy, but
or you're a Faber and you drive
people crazy.
Everyone crazy.
All right, that works. All right, thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Moneen, hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome. Thanks for sitting down with us. I was trying to think of how to start this, and I don't know whether this question is fun or too heavy, so we're about to find out.
Tell me about your mother.
Yeah, exactly. No, your album from 2003. It's called "Are We Really Happy with Who We Are Right Now?" So,
Yes.
are you now?
Are we? You know what? What? I think we're pretty happy.
Good.
Yeah, we're pretty happy.
Well, I saw a post that you guys made the other day, and I guess it was a couple months ago now, but because you were
If you're talking about us posting, there might have been
It was a couple months
6 years ago.
Well, you referred to it as a tour de pals, and it says that you guys have been happy since having fun together and happy since 1999. So
You know what? I can't say that Moneen takes life all that serious. Doesn't mean we don't care about things, but life's fun, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Back up! Get back on! Back on! We did nothing. You saw nothing. See? You never know when you're gonna have a good time around here.
Nothing happened. Nothing.
Anyway, so you were saying.
So as I was saying, you guys are like super serious.
Very
and you're
Back in. They saw nothing. Sorry.
So how do you keep it fun and keep it light?
Well, you got to do your taxes, kids. You got to do your taxes, and when they said you missed your homework in grade 8, maybe that's why you failed grade A math, Kenny. You ever thought about that? You ever thought about why you failed grade A math? Huh? Miss Dawes, she said, you're not going to get into Mayfield Secondary School for drama. You think you can do drama? You failed grade 8 math. Well, guess what, Miss Dawes? I did it! I made it! I swear to God, it's the last time. I swear to God. Okay, anyways.
Okay, so on that note,
Yes.
I was really
I
excited
did great
to talk
in
to you
grade
guys.
math. Did you do good in math? Did you have leaves stuck in your... Sorry.
There is a leaf
Save
in your
it for
hair.
later. That's
It's
okay.
fine. We're fine.
Okay.
I was really excited to talk to you guys because I have a story to share with you from one of your shows in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This was many years ago.
East
So
Coast.
My
Nice.
brother went to your show, and he actually had his favorite coat stolen at a Moneen show. And it's good, I promise.
His favorite what?
His favorite coat. His favorite coat got stolen at a Moneen show.
Oh, I did steal that.
And he ended up having to walk home in a Halifax winter, wearing a Team Moneen T-shirt that he had bought at your show. So
we
it
go.
actually ended up being kind of good advertising for you guys to like see this dude in a T-shirt, and he's got this Team Moneen.
What type of jacket was it? Was it special?
He just said it was like the only thing he's ever spent money on. But when I talked to him about it this week because I was like, I'm gonna talk to Moneen, and what he said was, you guys put on such a good show that at one point one of you jumped off the stage, and I guess there was like a pillar in the crowd, and you like jumped onto the pillar, and he was like, I think it created such a distraction that thieves are like,
Okay. This is your brother?
Jack.
Jack?
Yeah.
Jack, I'm very sorry. The truth is, you're on to us like a Law and Order detective. I just created that distraction, and Hippie had his cousin come steal your jacket. He's still wearing it to this day, which is why he is not wearing a jacket now, because we didn't want it to be found out. So sorry, Jack. Sorry.
Okay, he wasn't saying you guys created the distraction, but he did say that it was worth it because the show was so good. And so, how does it feel to have that sort of diehard Team Moneen mentality?
Well, you know what? And this is maybe the only serious answer you'll get out of us, but that's one of the things that we find very special about being this band is that we've been a band for a long time now. We formed in '99. Our fans are very, very nice to us, and there's like a really great positive energy at a Moneen show. You might never know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's just part of it. But I will say I've realized this, and I don't take it for granted over the last bunch of years when we've been playing again, is that there's a really good positive energy at a Moneen show, and I think that's like a pretty special thing to help create. And it's not just us, it's the people that are there too. Like, yeah, we feel pretty lucky for that. That's the last serious answer you're gonna get.
I knew another one was coming.
We're pretty good at that. You hate that.
You guys,
She thinks we're gonna break
Here's
the
my
couch.
issue. Here's my issue.
You're scared.
I didn't set them
Scared.
up. I'm not the one who blew them up. My issue is that I want to do it too.
Let's go! 1, 2, 3! There we go. Oh, see?
Okay.
Isn't it just the best? Okay, on to death. What did you want to
I
know?
just broke my neck. I'm just kidding. Okay, so you guys you're doing shows, you're releasing vinyls. What else is going on? What else are you working on?
Do you want to Should we let them in?
Yes.
Should we let them in on some stuff?
I rolled off the couch with you guys.
Okay, she rolled off the couch. That's good. Hippie, what are we working on these days?
Couch rolling, vinyl, new shit.
Come on.
We it's the first time in many years we're working on new music. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so when can the fans expect
We
that?
don't know because anyone who has toured with Moneen knows our nickname, which is Sloneen. So there'll be new music in the next decade.
You heard
but
it
it's
here
in the
first.
works. You're
New
here first.
Moneen
You
in
will
the next
forget after
decade.
6 years, but I'm telling you, it's coming.
I love that. And I've been asking bands this all day because we're out here in our, fake setup with our inflatable furniture. What posters did you guys have on your walls as a kid?
Oh, what did you have? I had some cool ones. You know what? I had this Megadeth poster, and it was like whatever their Megadeth guy's name was. You know, the skull guy with like the all metal, like all those faces stuff. I can't remember what his name was. Meggie? I don't think it was Meggie.
It's
Anyways,
Meggie. It's Meggie.
It was Meggie.
Yeah.
I had a poster of Meggie. I don't think I'd ever heard a Megadeth song in my life, but for some reason, 6-year-old Kenny was like the biggest Megadeth fan. But I thought that was a pretty cool poster.
That's a pretty cool poster.
What do you got?
I had a lot of picture collages
that he made himself.
That I made myself.
The classifieds of people doing yard work.
A few framed obits. Like, what else did you have on the wall?
I don't know. I had a lot of my parents' old 70s photos that I really liked, and I just made picture collages with them.
Well, that's nice.
And a bunch of band posters, but
DIY
that's boring.
Hippie.
Yeah, this is great. And do you remember your first celebrity crush?
Oh, celebrity crush.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was a crush, but I once really lost my cool outside of a show in New York, and it was a Brian Wilson show.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Brian. And I saw that there's 3 other people waiting outside the show to go meet him. So I thought, I love the Beach Boys. Think Pet Sounds is one of the best records ever made. So I'll wait with these 3 people, and I'll go say hi to Brian Wilson, say it very calmly, shake his hand, tell him how much his music means to me. He came out, he signed 1 person to sing. 2, you could already see he was glazed over and like ready to get in his car on the second one. And there was a 3rd person, then there was me. Well, Kenny, who's pretty cool, calm, and collected, is not cool, calm, or collected. Lost my mind. He gets in the car. I tried to get in the car with him, which I realized is, you don't do that.
Oh my God.
Then I'm like completely freaking out, trying to get him to sign some piece of garbage I found on the ground. And anyways, this guy with a briefcase gets in the back, and then security's pulling me back now. And I'm like, Brian, you don't understand. You changed my life. And this guy with a briefcase gets in the car before he closes the door. He's like, hey, yeah, buddy, you changed all our lives. Drive away. Like, seriously, not cool at all. I once asked Michael Cera if I could touch him a little bit. That's a long story. I don't think we should talk about that. He said okay. So I did this. Thank you. And that was it.
Well, that's
and then
nice.
he told his sister that he had one of the most creepy interactions he's ever had, and that was because of me. So anyways, don't let me meet celebrities.
What about yours?
Who'd you have a crush on?
You across the street.
I wasn't ready for that. I was so taken back by the fact that you've revealed you had a crush on me way back then.
Still do, buddy. Still
Is that why you're in the band with me?
Yes.
What do we do about this? Should we break up with our ladies?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
This is nice, you guys. Should we have a hug? I feel like we need to have a hug.
Oh, love.
Thanks, you guys.
We really do love. Hey, Hips, I love you, buddy.
Love you too,
I've
bud.
never had a crush on you. In fact, I can barely stand you.
Yeah,
but
that too,
I
but-
like that you like me.
Winona Fighter, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thanks for having
you guys, All Your Friends Fest, it's so much fun. You guys were playing earlier. How'd it go? Was it fun? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Amazing show. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love a festival.
Yeah. You guys just released the acoustic version of You Look Like Drunk Phoebe Bridgers. So are we going to get more acoustic treatments?
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
I can't say for sure, but hypothetically, if there was going to be some more stuff. It would be more acoustic stuff, yes.
Okay. And You Look Like Drunk Phoebe Bridgers is a spectacular title. What's the story behind that song?
Thank you. We had written that song earlier in the day, and I didn't put a title to it because I had written it about a specific person, and I was just nervous. I was like, oh, if I put this song out, they're gonna know it's about them, and so I didn't title it. And later that evening, I met Dan at a bar. I was completely sober. I hadn't gotten iced yet that evening. I did later in the evening, and a guy comes up to me and he's like, has anyone told you look like the drunk version of a Phoebe Bridgers?
Can't confirm. True comment.
Hey, what? What did you say?
He slunk off before I could even reply. It was like ships passing in the night. He just was gone, him and his mustache. And so I thought to myself, huh? And then I thought to myself, that is a great song title.
You know what? There is something nice, though, about something like that happening, because you get to go like, thank you, sir. I'm going to put this toward, my art.
Exactly. It's like, thank you for this gift I didn't even plan on getting tonight.
I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah.
And I read that you guys used to hand out flyers outside of festivals and shows. So, how does it feel to be here and to be coming off of a tour?
Pretty great. That was a long couple days, I remember, outside of that particular festival that we did. So It feels very nice to be inside.
Absolutely.
I mean, we said it on stage earlier, but it's just so, it's really not put past us how lucky we are. We're a garage punk band from Nashville. We did our whole debut album in our garage, just the three of us, and it took a lot of grinding and DIY stuff, and not aiming for the viral moment. And so to be able to be here now after kind of sticking to our guns and doing what we want to do, we're just so freaking fortunate. I just can't even put it into words. It's just so awesome.
I love that. And how was the tour? Do you guys have any tales from the tour for me? Anything happen?
We're halfway done. We have 3 more weeks.
Well, how is the tour then?
Anything crazy happen? Any shenanigans?
I'm trying to remember. I do take a little note on my phone for every single show we play, but oddly it's escaping me from this last tour. I don't know if anything super crazy happened this last leg.
We did drive, and I guess this is maybe for the Americans out there, but we drove from Albuquerque to Nashville in one shot on the way back. That's 18 or 19 hours.
Okay. Did you look at each other the same way after driving together for 18 hours?
Well, it was 6 a.m, and we looked at each other and we were like, should we just go all the way?
Yeah, we got this.
6 a.m, exhausted after being on tour for a month straight. We're like, yeah, we can make it. And I think with 3 hours left, we were all just like, okay, we still got this. We can still make it.
Yeah. Got back at 1 a.m.
Yeah. We recently were able to buy our own van too. So she's a 2016 and she stuck it out for us.
Amazing.
Yeah, Betty White. She did good.
And a perfect name. Perfect name also. And what else do you guys have in the works?
We're just touring the rest of the summer. We do have something we're really, really excited about coming out, hypothetically.
You gotta give me the hot tea.
Yeah, I'll give you, off camera, I'll give you the hot tea. But no, I think just kind of doing what we do, which is playing shows and playing as many as possible, and writing and releasing stuff as we go, and just doing this crazy thing.
We're playing Warped Tour Orlando in November.
Amazing.
Looking forward to that.
And because we're out here on our inflatable furniture, I've been asking everyone, whose posters did you have on your wall when you were a kid?
I have a good answer for this one. I had a decal on my wall. Those you can press it on your wall, and one was Bring Me the Horizon lyric. I'm the ocean, I'm the sea, there's a world inside of me. And then one was a Foo Fighters lyric. I think it was from One of These Days. And so that was my... And then there was a YouTuber who... What was his name? It was like Live Lava Live or something. I had one of his posters on my wall too.
Okay.
So very like Tumblr-esque wall of mine.
What about you guys?
You had some kittens, and what else did you have on there?
No, but almost as embarrassing. I mean, no, it's not. It's actually, can I say badass on here?
Yes.
Okay, this is actually really badass. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Wow!
Really?
I had a whole Dale Earnhardt Jr. room.
Really?
Really?
The walls were red, or half red, half white.
Did you pick the theme, or did
Yeah,
your
I
parents
picked the
pick?
theme,
Oh
yeah.
wow!
So I didn't have any music posters actually, but big Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan, big Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan, the Intimidator. Wow. All right, anyways,
Austin
Dan,
got
what do you got?
loads of women
Good.
growing up.
All right, Dan, good luck. What do you got?
In a similar fashion, motorsport themed,
Oh, yeah.
I had a huge Gravedigger monster truck poster on my wall.
Oh, Gravedigger!
Flying over some cars, crushing them.
Nice.
And I think I had some other posters, but they escaped me because that Gravedigger one was so good.
It's crazy I mean, we love music so much, but we're just as much nerds as anything. So if you ask us what posters we had on our walls, you guys aren't going to get the cool answers.
Well, and I already know that yours is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Who was your first celebrity crush?
Ooh, first celebrity crush. I had a big, and not the normal choice, in early 2000s, early Fall Out Boy Patrick Stump was my crush. When he
Okay.
had the sideburns and the fedora. I don't know.
The fedora really did it for you. He was fedorable.
I had a fedora as well.
Oh, wow. You
Yeah.
guys could have been matching.
I know. In another life.
What about you guys?
I think my first celebrity crush, still my celebrity crush to this day, and appropriately enough since we're in Canada, was Kristen Krug from the show Smallville.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Other than Dan Earnhardt Jr., maybe Rachel McAdams?
Great choice.
Yeah.
Also Canadian.
Who's your
Is she?
current celebrity crush, Austin?
I prefer not to say. Joke answer, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Real answer, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Real answer, Jake Gyllenhaal. All right, anyways,
Thank you
next
so
question.
much, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Filter, an iHeart Podcasts Canada production. Subscribe to The Filter wherever you get your podcasts.